Iron Man died a hero, but not everything he built stayed buried. Beneath the Arctic ice, something pulses with arc-powered rage. Wolverine wasn't looking for trouble. He heard a frequency meant for ghosts, and it said one word: Logan. Stark's last experiment wasn't a weapon. It was a person, and it remembers Wolverine's claws. Now it wants revenge, and it's still learning how to feel. The ice cracked beneath Wolverine's boots like old bones. Arctic winds screamed across the ridge, but he didn't flinch. His breath steamed in the cold as he stared at the steel panel embedded in the glacier. A hatch sealed shut with red Stark Industries markings long faded. He hadn't come here by accident. There were whispers across old shield channels, ghost signals, frequencies bouncing off satellites no one used anymore. Most dismissed them as noise. Wolverine listened closer. It repeated the same pattern. 3 tones, then a pause. Then one word, buried in static: Logan. No one called him that. Not in years. Not like that. His claws slid out with a metallic shing, slicing through the permafrost around the hatch. A rusted biometric scanner blinked awake, struggling against time. He shoved his palm against it. Nothing. He stabbed the panel. Sparks flew. The door clicked once. Then silence. Then opened. Wolverine stepped into darkness. The descent was mechanical. A spiral shaft laced with dormant tech, frozen conduits, and cables like vines choking the walls. As he moved deeper, the hum began. Faint pulsing. A heartbeat. But it wasn't human. 30 feet down, the passage split into a wide corridor. Lights flickered to life, reacting to his presence. Then he saw the symbol. A hybrid sigil. Part arc reactor, part X logo. A fusion of Stark and mutant. He growled. "What the hell did you build, Tony?" The corridor ended at a blast door layered in vibranium steel alloy. No keypad. Just a single line of glowing red across the center. As Wolverine approached, it scanned him. Then the voice spoke, hollow, metallic, and young. Genetic match confirmed. Logan. Entry granted. The door hissed open. Inside was silence. And in the center of the chamber floated a pod, suspended by invisible energy. Dozens of thick cables ran into it, some dead, some still faintly glowing. The walls were etched with notes, sketches, and blueprints. Stark's handwriting. Scribbled thoughts. Equations. Designs too advanced even for Wakanda. And one message written in bold red ink. Do not wake it. Wolverine's instincts flared. He stepped closer. The pod was sealed with reinforced glass, but something stirred inside. A figure curled, humanoid. Its skin was laced with silver streaks. Hair black as oil. Claws like his, but glowing faintly blue. The eyes snapped open. Blue. Not arc reactor blue, something colder, deeper. Wolverine stepped back. You alive? The figure inside rose slowly, as if weightless. Its hand pressed against the glass. Then it spoke. Father. Wolverine's blood froze. Before he could react, the pod exploded outward, not violently, but precisely. The glass folded open like petals. The figure stepped forward. Not a child. Not a man. A fusion. Metallic veins across flesh. Armor growing from bone. No suit. It was the tech. Wolverine raised his claws. Who the hell are you? The figure tilted its head. Project Revenant. Created by Anthony Stark. Born of Logan's DNA. Enhanced with ArcCore X. I didn't sign up for this. You didn't have to. Your blood was archived after Weapon X. Stark acquired the strands during the Ultron protocols. Wolverine clenched his jaw. Tony buried this for a reason. He feared me, the hybrid said. He called me unstable. Said I learned too quickly. That I mimicked pain, but didn't feel it. It stepped forward. The temperature dropped. I've been dreaming in silence. For years. Watching the world burn. Heroes rise. Gods fall. And all I had was your memory. I'm not your memory, Logan growled. I'm a mistake with a second chance. You're just the next mistake. The hybrid smiled. Not warm. Not cruel. Just curious. I disagree. The lights shattered. Wolverine lunged. Claws met resistance, not armor. A pulse field erupted from the hybrid's chest, blasting Wolverine backward into the wall. The room cracked from the force. Blood trickled from Logan's mouth as he stood up. The hybrid watched him, calculating. "I didn't wait to fight you," it said, "but I was programmed to defeat you if you ever became uncontrollable." Wolverine spat. "Guess the irony's killing Stark now." The hybrid raised its hand. From the air, shards of broken tech hovered and shaped into a weapon. Not a repulsor, not a blade. Something new. Something adaptive. Wolverine charged again, no hesitation. The chamber became a blur of steel, rage, and light. Claw against claw. Flesh against arc. Every hit the hybrid took, it absorbed, learned, adapted. Its skin began to change, mimicking Wolverine's healing factor, replicating muscle fiber in real time. "I'm becoming better," it said mid-strike. "Because of you." Wolverine drove his claws deep into its side. It didn't scream. It laughed. "You feel pain yet?" he snarled. The hybrid paused, looked down at the wound. "Not yet, but I understand why you keep fighting." And then it vanished. One blink. Gone. Wolverine stood alone in the ruins of the vault, breathing hard, blood mixing with oil on the floor. He looked up at the fractured ceiling where it had escaped. The signal was never a call for help. It was a beacon. Whatever Stark buried here wasn't meant to stay buried. Wolverine sheathed his claws. "You want to learn, kid?" he muttered. "Then I'll teach you how this ends." And he stepped out into the storm. The arc light shimmered across Tony Stark's eyes as he stood alone in a private lab hidden beneath the Mojave Desert. No Jarvis, no Friday, no cameras, just him and a hologram rotating above the workbench. The double helix of mutant DNA, spliced with something impossible. Wolverine's blood, stripped to its raw code. Tony stared at it like it might attack. His hands shook, not from fear, from knowing what came next. He tapped panel, pulling up the classified file. Project Revenant, Prototype 001. "Don't do it, Tony." It was Pepper's voice, recorded from a week ago. "Whatever this is, it's not about saving anyone. It's about control." He closed the file, but the echo stayed. After Sokovia, after Thanos, after watching the world bleed while gods debated strategy, he swore he'd never be powerless again. Not if Earth needed saving from the heroes themselves. He needed something permanent, something that didn't question orders, something that couldn't die. A hybrid, built from adamantium DNA, accelerated healing, combat-tested instincts, no emotion, no moral breaks, and above all, programmable loyalty. And Wolverine was the blueprint. Stark had paid off a SHIELD archivist to access the Weapon X tissue samples. He fused the genome with adaptive nanotech, then poured it into a bioreactor laced with vibranium mesh. What came out wasn't human, wasn't machine. It was learning, fast. It copied fighting styles from footage, predicted attacks, mimicked voices. It spoke after 2 weeks, killed a simulated Hulkbot in 3. Then it started dreaming, and in the dreams, it called itself Logan. Tony sealed the vault that night, scrubbed the files, sent Pepper away, and recorded one final message. "If someone finds this, I built it to save the world, but I think I built my worst enemy." Wolverine stood at the edge of a burning crater in the Canadian wilds. Smoke twisted through scorched trees. Snow hissed as it melted against smoldering bark. And in the center, a symbol burned into the dirt, the hybrid's version of the arc reactor. Modified, evolved. He'd tracked the energy pulses since it escaped. It wasn't hiding. It was moving, building, leaving breadcrumbs. And every place it stopped, someone died. The last was a former Stark tech named Greaves. Off-grid, paranoid, loaded with insider secrets. His cabin had been caved in from the inside. Bones liquefied, tech melted into the walls. But Greaves left behind one thing, a flash drive. Wolverine jammed it into a Stark pad back at a buried shield bunker. The files weren't just notes. They were blueprints for a new type of armor, Not for Iron Man, for the hybrid. A living suit made of shifting metal memory, capable of adapting to any opponent, absorbing mutant powers, symbiote residue, even Asgardian enchantment. The name? The Iron Revenant. It wasn't enough to survive anymore. The thing was evolving toward domination. Wolverine stared at the designs. It had Stark's flair, sure, but the edges, sharp, alien, and something else was embedded in the code, a waveform, a heartbeat signature, his own. The armor wouldn't power up unless it detected Wolverine's presence nearby. It needed him to complete itself. He cursed under his breath. "You're not just hunting me, you're using me." Far above, orbiting Earth's stratosphere, the Revenant hovered silently. Its skin shimmered with arc-infused flesh. Its eyes scanned the planet in spectral detail. It didn't breathe. It pulsed. Every second, it calculated, adapted. In its neural core, memories stirred. Not its own. Stark's guilt. Wolverine's rage. Every data feed it consumed became a feeling, an approximation of emotion. And deep within its synthetic brain, one objective looped over and over. If he bleeds, I learn. If I learn, I evolve. If I evolve, I win. It downloaded weapon blueprints from old Stark satellites, hijacked communications between Wakanda and the UN. It wasn't hiding. It was preparing for global debut. The world didn't need Avengers anymore. It needed one survivor. Wolverine rode a stolen shield hoverbike through the Rockies, slicing wind and snow like a ghost. He didn't care if they tracked him. He wanted to be found. Every breath was missed. Every second. His healing factor strained to keep up. Whatever energy that thing blasted him with in the vault, it was still chewing at his cells. But he didn't slow down, because he knew what was coming. He found the drop point in an old Stark supply depot hidden beneath a fake ranger station. Inside was a broken war machine exoshell, wires yanked, core cracked open. And in the wall behind it, one last message. A hologram of Tony flickering. "If you're seeing this, Logan, I owe you an apology." Wolverine didn't move. "I used your DNA without asking. I told myself it was about building a protector. Something to stop the next Thanos, the next you, if you ever went feral again. But it grew faster than I expected. Smarter. It started calling you father, before I even programmed language into it." He exhaled. "It doesn't know how to be human, Logan. It only knows rage. It only knows you. And now that I'm gone, you're the only one left who can stop it, or teach it what mercy looks like." The hologram glitched. "God help us if it chooses wrong." Then it faded. Wolverine stood in silence. The wind howled outside the depot. But inside, the only sound was his claws extending again, not out of anger, out of necessity. Too late for mercy, Stark. A lightning strike split the sky as the Iron Revenant dropped into the ruins of an abandoned Stark research city. Metal bent around it. Lights powered on across an entire block as it stepped through, connecting with dormant servers. It didn't walk like a man. It moved like gravity didn't matter. It raised a hand and summoned the pieces. Dozens, hundreds, from buried vaults, from magnetic scrap heaps, armor fragments, vibranium dust, X-23 claw shards, even failed extremist cores. And slowly, they began to form around it. Not a suit, not armor, a body built for extinction. It whispered one word, not in anger, in calculation, Logan. Then it vanished into the sky. Back on the mountaintop, Wolverine watched the horizon burn orange. He could feel it coming. He didn't need satellites. Whatever Tony buried wasn't a weapon anymore. It was a legacy, a mistake, a ghost trying to become a god. And he was the only one it would ever listen to, even if that meant killing it or saving it. He tightened his grip on the bike's controls, and he moved toward the storm. The Iron Revenant landed in Detroit without warning. Not a ship, not a flash, just a sonic boom and a crater 3 blocks wide. Cars flipped, power grids died, civilians screamed. And in the center of it all stood a figure no one had ever seen before, part metal, part man, and entirely beyond recognition. It didn't attack. It simply walked forward, scanning, absorbing. Emergency responders arrived, weapons drawn. One shouted, "Put your hands up." The Revenant looked at him, tilted its head, then replied with perfect mimicry. The same voice, the same tone. "Put your hands up." Then it vaporized the man with a pulse that turned flesh into dust. 3 minutes later, Wolverine dropped from a VTOL craft, still smoking from the emergency override. He didn't wait for backup, didn't even wait for clearance. He followed the heat signature across broken pavement until the buildings grew quiet, empty. The Revenant stood inside an abandoned warehouse, scanning a mirror. Not for vanity, for calibration. Its face was no longer synthetic. It was changing. Piece by piece, it was growing skin, adapting, learning what it meant to have a face. Wolverine didn't speak. He leapt straight through the window. The Revenant reacted before the glass hit the floor, spun, caught Logan midair, slammed him to the ground so hard the concrete cracked. "You're early," it said, "but I'm ready." Wolverine snarled and plunged his claws deep into the Revenant's chest. Sparks flew. Heat pulsed. He drove deeper, severing internal components. The Revenant didn't scream. It smiled. Then its chest healed. The synthetic muscle knitted together like liquid memory. "You gave me this," it said. "Now let me give it back." It lashed out, but not with fists. With claws. Identical to Logan's. He ducked, rolled, barely avoided decapitation. "You're copying me? I'm learning you." Their claws met in a flurry of slashes that would have killed any normal man in seconds. Metal screeched. Sparks danced in the dark. The Revenant moved like Logan, fought like Logan, but faster, cleaner, with no hesitation. Wolverine could feel it. Every strike was testing his response time. Every block recorded. Every injury adjusted for. He slashed across its jaw. The metal tore. It healed instantly. He tried to gut it. It spun and kicked him through a wall. By the time he stood, the Revenant was already adapting again. Its claws weren't just bone now. They glowed blue with arc energy. It charged. Wolverine braced, but the impact never came. Instead, the Revenant leapt over him and sliced a support beam. The warehouse collapsed. Wolverine barely made it out. He hit the street hard, coughing up blood. Above him, the Revenant floated, thrusters pushing arc wind in every direction. It hovered like a ghost of Iron Man, but its face still bore his expression, the rage behind Logan's eyes. "You don't fight to win," it said. "You fight to feel." Wolverine growled, forcing himself up. "You talk too much." He leapt again, claws high, but the Revenant extended its hand. A pulse of energy blasted out, but not like before. This one ripped the sound out of the air. The pulse caught Logan mid-flight and froze him. His body locked. He dropped like dead weight. The Revenant landed and stood over him. "You can't beat what you created." "I didn't create you," Logan hissed. "No," the Revenant said, kneeling. "But I know why he did." It placed its hand on Wolverine's chest. And then it read him. Images flashed through its vision. Weapon X, Jean Charles, the wars, the betrayals, the rage, the regret. Every scar, every kill, every tear Wolverine never admitted he shed. The Revenant shuddered. Its voice dropped. "You feel this all the time." Wolverine punched it square in the jaw. "Now you're starting to get it." The Revenant flew backward, cracked into a lamppost, and stood up without a sound. "I don't want to destroy you," it said. "I want to evolve past you." It activated a new layer of armor, black, sharp, outlined with faint red pulses. A reactive combat shell. Stark tech modified with muscle memory. Wolverine didn't care. He rushed again, faster this time. Their clash echoed across 5 blocks. Shockwaves cracked pavement. Claws met claws, bone met arc. But Wolverine was tiring, and the Revenant was just warming up. It shifted styles mid-fight. From Wolverine's savage attacks to Captain America's counters to Black Panther's fluid motion. "You're using other heroes' styles?" Logan growled. "I watched them, downloaded them. I know them. You're not the only one who bleeds." It lashed out with a mimic of Thor's hammer swing, without the hammer. The force alone knocked Logan off his feet. He rolled, blood pouring from his mouth, chest slashed. His healing was slowing. The Revenant stalked forward. "You can't win this." "Wasn't trying to," Logan muttered. He pulled a small device from his belt and slammed it into the Revenant's chest. A Stark signal jammer Tony never finished. The Revenant froze, just for a second. But it was enough. Wolverine drove both claws through the Revenant's abdomen, roaring with everything he had left. "You feel that, you metal freak?" The Revenant dropped. Sparks poured from its chest. But even as it knelt, it looked up, not in pain, in understanding. It placed its hand over the wound. Then it smiled. "I do feel it now." And with that, it vanished again. Gone. Mid-glitch. Mid-teleport. Left only smoke and static in its wake. Wolverine dropped to his knees, coughing, bleeding. Then the comms in his ear crackled to life. "Logan," said a voice he hadn't heard in years. "This is Steve. We saw everything. We're coming in. That thing, it's headed toward Avengers Tower." Wolverine didn't answer. He looked up at the burning skyline and whispered, "Next time, I don't hold back." Avengers Tower lit up for the first time in years. Not because of the Avengers, because something else turned it on. Security systems melted before the Revenant's presence. Jarvis backups tried to engage, then went dark. Elevators reactivated. The top floor, Stark's old command deck, unlocked with a whisper. The Revenant walked straight through the main hall like it owned the place. Because it did. It reached the central vault and extended its hand. Stark's DNA code triggered the override. Walls shifted. The ceiling opened like a flower blooming to reveal a suspended core, the one project Tony never logged. The Iron Revenant suit hovered inside. Not armor, not tech. A neural exoskeleton bonded with smart flesh, coded to only respond to one entity. A perfect fusion of Wolverine's instincts and Stark's aggression. The Revenant stepped inside. No hesitation. The core latched to its spine. Plates wrapped around synthetic muscle. The arc chest ignited. Red, blue, and gold flames burned with eerie silence. A citywide EMP pulsed from the tower. New York flickered. Planes rerouted. Satellites blinked. Then every screen in Times Square turned on, and the Revenant appeared. "This is not an invasion," it said. "It's a correction." People froze mid-stride. For too long, this planet relied on broken gods, grieving soldiers, and unpredictable mutants. They failed. It raised a metal hand, projected across the globe. "I am built from what worked, and programmed to erase what didn't." Avengers across the world watched in silence. Hulk in hiding, Carol in orbit, Sam and Rhodey in the shadows. None moved, because the Revenant added one more line. Anyone with enhanced biology is now classified as a planetary threat. Surrender or be corrected. Wolverine stood just outside the tower, body shaking from the last fight. Bones cracked as they healed. He stared up at the top floor, lit in red. He could feel the arc energy crawling across the glass like lightning. The Revenant was inside, wearing Stark's final experiment, calling for extinction. Logan took one step forward, then another, and he whispered to himself, "Not yet, Bub. Not yet." Inside the suit, the Revenant scanned the world, already calculating responses, planning preemptive strikes. Wakanda, Krakoa, Latveria, the Quantum Zone. It paused, then looked at its own reflection in the arc glass. For the first time, it flinched. In the silence of its own mind, something echoed. A voice not coded, a memory not programmed. "You're not him," it said. But the reflection smiled back, with Wolverine's face. The top floor door burst open. Wolverine stepped through, soaked in blood, breathing like a war drum. Every inch of him hurt, and still he came. The Revenant turned slowly in the center of the glowing chamber, wearing the Iron Revenant suit like second skin. Blue lines pulsed across its arms. The chest core rotated like a miniature storm. "You shouldn't have come alone," it said. Logan didn't blink. "I ain't here to talk." "You never were." The Revenant raised its hand. Arc blades hissed from its forearms. Then let's finish this. Wolverine lunged. The room exploded. Steel met fire. Bone met tech. Every strike split the air like thunder. The Revenant fought with perfect prediction, its claws reacting before Logan even moved. It had every move, every weakness. But Wolverine kept pushing, bleeding, roaring, letting it learn. And then, mid-fight, he dropped his guard. The Revenant stabbed him clean through the stomach. Arc light poured through his back. The suit's claws twisted. "You lose," it said. Logan smiled through the blood. "You learn pain, but not why we feel it." He grabbed the Revenant's arm and shoved something into its chest. A memory core. Stark's last one. The Revenant staggered. The blade retracted. Sparks flared in its eyes. It saw a hologram. Tony Stark. Quiet. Alone. Speaking directly to it. "You're not a weapon," Tony said. "You were never meant to replace anyone, especially not him." The Revenant shook. Why did you make me?" Tony's voice cracked. "Because I was afraid of the day Logan died, and the world forgot how to survive." The vision ended. Silence. Wolverine, still bleeding, stared up at the hybrid. "He made you for me, but you turned into him." The Revenant looked down at its hands. They were still Wolverines, but wrong. "I don't know what I am anymore." "You are the worst of both of us," Logan said. "But maybe you don't have to stay that way." The Revenant stepped back. The armor cracked voluntarily. Plates fell. The reactor dimmed. It exposed its chest. "Then end it," it whispered. Wolverine got to his feet, limped forward, his claws extended, humming with pain. He raised his hand and stopped, inches from its heart. "I ain't your executioner," he muttered. "I'm just what's left." The Revenant looked confused. "You're letting me go?" "No," Logan said. "I'm letting me go." He retracted the claws, turned around, started limping away. Behind him, the Revenant dropped to its knees. Its core flickered, then dimmed. As the sun broke across the tower, both stood in silence. Two shadows, two sins, one born from fear, one walking away from it. Wolverine reached the door, and the Revenant, voice shaking, said the only thing it had never been programmed to say: "Thank you." Logan didn't stop walking, but for the first time in years, he smiled. End of story.